Elizabeth again found herself implicated in treason after the Wyatt Rebellion of 1554. Edward had died in the summer of 1553 from prolonged ill health, and Elizabeth's half-sister Mary was now Queen Mary I of England after a brief fight for the throne against the scheme of John Dudley, Duke of Northumberland, to make his daughter-in-law Jane Grey Queen. Mary was not a particularly popular monarch and was suspicious of her Protestant half-sister. It was thus not difficult to persuade her that Elizabeth may have been conspiring with Thomas Wyatt and his men to seize the throne. Whether or not the rebellion was to make Elizabeth Queen is uncertain, and it is also unknown whether Elizabeth had any knowledge of the conspirators' plans. Even if she did have knowledge of them, there is no evidence that she approved of the actions of Wyatt and his followers. Elizabeth said she was innocent of the accusations against her, but was still arrested and sent to the Tower of London as a prisoner. The Tower of London is that castle place next to Tower Bridge, very popular with tourists and very famous, although perhaps the bridge itself is more famous. The famous drawbridge the Tower of London is next to Tower Bridge. Some people think that when London Bridge went to America, that they thought the buyer may have thought that he was buying Tower Bridge, because London Bridge had to be rebuilt because it was sinking. London Bridge is falling down, they used to sing. So, come and join me and let's do some more reading. We've got some interesting words to learn. Here we've got a word which means mixed up in, involved in something, or made to be involved in something by something somebody else said. If somebody gets mixed up in something, maybe they don't want to be mixed up in it. There's a word there, implicated. There's also a word which means something goes on for a long time. Not just over in a flash, but something takes a long time. I can see a word on the screen. Can you see the word there, which means to take a long time? Hello, Nino. Hi. So, yeah, I can see a word. Can anybody see a word there, which means something takes a long time?
Prolonged.
Prolonged, yes. Prolonged is the word I was thinking about. Okay, so Nino, are you ready to read? Right, so we've actually read most of this paragraph, so I'm going to just make a mark somewhere on it. So I think we've read half of it, maybe, and was suspicious of her Protestant half-sister. So we have this problem even nowadays in some areas between Catholicism and Protestantism. So we've got these two factions of the Christian Church in the United Kingdom, the Anglican Church and the Catholic Church. Most noticeably in Northern Ireland there's been some problems because most of the north of Ireland is Protestant, as is most of the mainland of Britain. But you see, it all started with Henry VIII. So let's continue. It was thus. That's an interesting word, quite old really, but you see it sometimes. It was thus. Maybe we would say and so, and because of this, it was. So this is saying, this is the reason. It was thus not difficult to persuade her that Elizabeth may have been conspiring. Right, so let's start from there now and continue. Nino, are you on the mic there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, great. So can you see the page?
Yes, yes. I was
So
bringing up.
can you be the first reader here then? It was thus.
Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure. From Elizabeth, right?
No, read it. We've read half of it, so let's move down to here. Look, can you see on the screen
Okay, yes,
over
yes.
there? Start there, please.
Okay. It was.
Whoopsie, sorry. That's because I clicked. You have to be careful when you screen share that if you click on your taskbar in the wrong order, it drops the screen share. So let's go back. I have to first of all go back to the place I'm screen sharing, and then I have to go back to here and then click screen share and then click. It's quite difficult. I learnt it, and even now I can drop it again if I don't click the right thing. There you are.
It was thus. Again.
Yes, go on.
It was that not is what it was that difficult to persuade her that Elizabeth may have been conspiring with Thomas Watt and his men to seize the throne.
That's seize, to seize the throne.
To seize the
you know,
throne.
like grabbing and holding it, taking.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit violent, really, taking and holding, seizing the throne. Okay.
To seize the throne. Whether or not the rebellion was to make Elizabeth queen is uncertain, and it is also unknown whether Elizabeth had any knowledge of the conspirators' plans. Even if she did have knowledge of them, there is no evidence that she approved of the action of Watt and his followers. Elizabeth said she was innocent.
Yeah, maybe innocent.
Innocent of the accusations made against her, but she was still arrested and sent to the Tower of London as a prisoner.
That last sentence, arrested, get the tid at the end, arrested and sent to the tower, like owl, tower. Not tower, but
still
tower.
arrested and sent to the Tower.
Yes.
Of London as a prisoner.
Now, question for you, Nino.
Yeah.
In paragraph 6 that we've just read, is Queen Elizabeth actually the Queen?
Queen Elizabeth.
Is Queen Elizabeth the Queen at this point in paragraph 6?
No, it said, but she was arrested and sent to the Tower of London as a prisoner.
So she's not the Queen?
Yes.
Was she the Queen before this?
Yes, because it said Queen Elizabeth.
No, she's not yet the Queen. She hasn't made it yet. She was the daughter of Henry VIII, but she's not the Queen yet.
The Queen was Mary, Queen Mary of England, the mother of Elizabeth.
Yeah, so Queen Mary's the Queen, but Queen Elizabeth is not yet Queen.
Okay.
But now another question for you before you describe a word. There was a word, seize the throne. Seize the throne.
Yeah.
Now, there is a homophone of the word seize. Can you write a homophone in the verbaling chat? Anybody? A homophone of the word seize. Seize the throne. Another word, that's cease. Now that's not actually a homophone because there's a difference, isn't there? Seize has a z sound at the end and cease has an s. So yes, Manuel, and that isn't even the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of a verb. She sees the throne over there. Over there, can you see? Yes, seize the throne, yes. That's the one I was thinking of. But it's interesting, Nino, that cease, to stop something, is different. Cease with a s and seize with a z. A z sound, I should say, a z sound. Now, Nino, could you choose an interesting word for you to describe to us, and we will guess it? Don't tell us. Remember, don't tell us the word.
Okay. My word is a verb and means To be part in something. To
be what? I missed that word. To be
part, to take part.
To be a part of something.
Be a part of something, or to take part in doing something, or making something, or to take part in the process of something.
Prolong it.
Take part in the process of doing something.
Yeah, I don't think it's prolonged, because prolonged is really about time, and to be a long time. I think it's implicated.
Yes,
yeah,
of course, yes.
To be implicated, to be involved, to take part. It's a bit different, isn't it? To taking part. If you are implicated, it's because it's you are put into that part
in doing something.
Well, if you take part, it's more active, isn't it? But this verb is a little bit passive. It's I am implicated in this. I was implicated.
Even implicated can be active, sir. Even I'm implicating myself in doing something. Maybe.
Yeah, it can be. It can be active.
Launching
yeah.
something, or be a law. I don't know.
It's a good word. Do another one, please. Could you do one more?
Okay. My word is noun. Is a noun that means that is used to designate someone who plans. Someone who plans trickly, maybe to plan trickly something at the expenses of someone else. That the effect should be.
I could see a word which is related to planning something against other people.
Conspiring.
It is a noun, my verb.
So yours is a noun.
Rebellion.
Okay.
Someone.
Rebellion.
Noun. Is it rebellion?
No.
No. No. Maybe it's not one of the highlighted words. Let's look through. So, I can see a word which is something. Accusation. Is it that?
No.
Okay. Say more about it.
I say it is used to designate someone.
Used to what? To do what to somebody?
To designate to
designate somebody.
Designate somebody, someone planning something negative at the expense of someone else.
Okay, so I'm looking again.
A conspirator.
Conspirator, yes.
Yes, it is that word, but a different. We had the wrong form of the word. Conspirator. Yeah. Conspirator. Yes. Okay. Good. So, actually, we changed the order of people. I want to maybe go back to the beginning now. Anna. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
Hi there. So,
how are you?
You did a bit of reading, didn't you? When did you? How long ago were you reading?
Sorry?
Have you read any yet?
No, no yet.
No. Okay, so let's ask you to read right now. Then let me move the screen for you. So we'll move down. Okay, so we're on paragraph 7. Over to you, please, Anna.
Okay. Many of those surrounding the Queen would have liked Elizabeth to have been executed, but there was no evidence against her, and she was popular with the people. Elizabeth was kept a captive at the Tower for 2 months and then removed to Woodstock Manor in Oxfordshire, where she was kept a prisoner for a year. The house itself was uninhabitable, so she had to be lodged in the gatehouse with her servants. It was only at the behest of the Queen's husband, Philip of Spain, that she was allowed to return to her childhood home of Hatfield in Hertfordshire. Philip was aware of the Queen's poor health and wanted to gain the friendship of Elizabeth to ensure peaceable relations between England and Spain should his wife die and Elizabeth succeed to the throne.
Okay, first of all, some words here for sound. So we've got uninhabitable, but I think that was not the word I wanted to speak about. Now, which word was I thinking about now? We've got a word here which is a little bit old-fashioned here, the behest of, because this comes from a history book, and they probably used that word in those days. But which word would we use now instead of behest? In fact, we could still use the same prepositions and everything, just change that word, at the behest of. There's a very common word beginning with R.
A request.
Yes, just at the request of. That's the way people would say that today. So behest. These B words, we still have them, but some of them are getting a little bit rare. So we have beheaded, befriend. You see, the word befriend is not used as much nowadays. Some people use it a little, but we usually just say make a friend with them, not befriend. We don't use the kind of one verb word anymore. Some old words, really, I think they should stay in English because they're very good words, I think. One of my favourite old words is this word, yonder. Does anybody know what yonder means?
No.
Yonder is a word which I like because the meaning inside that word needs two words. I think it's something like over there in the distance, yonder. So I like that word, and some words just disappear because of fashion and style, but they sometimes never quite die. They're always hanging around. Yonder is something like over there. So there's a word there in English, T-H-E-R-E, but it could be there almost where I am, just a little bit close to me, or it could be just a second. I have some. Somebody's about to drill a hole in the wall, so I might have a big noise. And so if you hear a big noise, don't worry about it. Just read on a minute, and then I'll mute myself for a minute. But yeah, so there was something I wanted to say to you before I asked you to read. But yeah, does anybody know why this reminds me of rock concerts and Queen? A different kind of Queen. I mean, it's a kind of magic. Do you know why? When I read this paragraph, I kept thinking of that. Because of the venues that I mentioned. Woodstock, I've been to there. Woodstock, amazingly big rock concert. Jimi Hendrix was there. And also Hatfield. I remember it took about 3 hours to get out of the Queen concert because I was standing behind about 300,000 other people waiting to get out through a gate. And so we sat there making noises like meh, meh, for about 3 hours. But yeah, that's Hatfield and Woodstock. These are famous places. Yeah. All right then, Anna, can you choose an interesting word? And if my drill noise comes, you might not hear me speak to you, but find an interesting word to describe to us, please.
Okay. Okay, I've chosen a word. It's a verb.
Now, when you say that word verb, get the nice birdie sound, because remember, everybody in Russia has a bit of a birdie sound problem, like heard, bird, word, and they go to the air a bit like verb, like this. So try to say verb, it's a verb. Eh? Anyway, tell me more. Which verb is it?
It's a verb, and when you put a thing in a different place, you blah blah this word. For example.
Well, I know a verb which means that, but I can't see it. Like relocate. Put something in a different place.
Yeah, or for example.
I'm looking. Can anybody see the verb?
YouTube? YouTube?
No.
Couldn't even hear that, Roxana.
I think she thinks about remove, but
Yes.
remove is to take out, or
Yeah, when you remove something, you haven't put it anywhere else yet.
Yes.
So that's why I was looking for replace or something else. But okay, so do another one, please. One more.
I like one word, but I don't know the meaning of the word, so.
Let me try and see if I can do one then. Here comes my drill though. Here, before the drill sound comes, my word means that it's a kind of place, it's an adjective. This place is not really a place that you could live in.
Uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable, yes. So that's an adjective. Right, okay, so now let's move on. I'm just going to mute and move the page down. Okay, so I've got the drill on, but I just want to say, next reader, Bashar, are you there? If you're there on the mic, Bashar, please read. No, so it's back to you, Manuel, thank you.
okay. Elizabeth did finally succeed to view the throne on the 17th of November 1558. It was a moment of supreme triumph for the unwanted daughter who had spent her life in the shadow of the court, cast aside and forgotten. The years following the death of her father had called for sobriety and caution, but now that she was queen, Elizabeth was determined to enjoy her newfound freedom and live life to the full. She loved all kinds of sports, especially horse riding, and in the early years of her reign spent an hour riding. She also loved hunting, hawking, baiting, and watching the male courtiers excel at jousts or other sporting contests. She loved music and dancing, pageantry and masks, and could even play the virginals and the lute herself with skill. She had no time for the Puritan theologians who deemed such things impious. She also loved watching plays and created the atmosphere responsible for the flourishing of the literary masterpieces of the period against the Puritans' demands for the closure of all theaters and playhouses.
Okay, great reading. That was very, very nice. So I just have one or two things to mention about that. So let's go back to the beginning of it. Well, the first word I think was, yeah, triumph, not triumph, triumph. So in English, triumph. And this word you read correctly. You have to be careful reading that one correctly. So virginals. Okay, and this one, how did you say that one? Theology is the theology. Theologian.
Theologians.
Yeah, that's quite a tricky word, isn't it? But I think we say theology, and yeah, okay. So and this one was the other word as well. Impious. Impious. Okay, so could you choose at least? Let's start finding a word then that you can tell us all about. So which is your word? Maybe I need to make that a bit smaller, just a moment. A bit smaller to fit it all on the screen. We can do the whole paragraph now. So choose any word that you like.
Okay. Well, the word I'm thinking about is an adjective, and it means that you show no respect, especially for gods or religion.
Pious.
Pious is really more of an attitude, isn't it? What does pious mean exactly? I thought pious is something like stuck-up attitude. Impious. Deemed such thing. What's the definition of impious? Because let's have a look at it. Can anyone post a definition in the verb link chat from the dictionary of the word impious? Theologians, impious. Because I thought that impious was maybe I'm thinking of a different meaning for it. But shall I look for the dictionary? Because I haven't got my dictionary open at the moment.
Maybe disrespectful with God or religion.
Yeah, I didn't always connect it with religion, so that's what I'm just going to check now. So, impious. Okay. Showing no respect, but it says, yeah, I'm okay because it says especially for God or religion, but it could be used to just mean that you're not showing respect for something high up above you, but it is generally used for religion, but it doesn't have to be used for religion. Anyway, Manuel, can you do another one?
Yeah. Well, it's a thing. The word that I'm going to describe is a thing that you do. Well, I'm going to change.
Let me do one I'll do one, and you have a think about what yours. So I'll choose one as well. So, all right, a very simple one. It's a noun. It's got strings.
The lute.
And it's an instrument, like a guitar. Yes.
The lute is like a guitar.
Yes, a lute.
I was thinking about that.
Oh, so I'll have to mute myself now. So you do one, please.
Yeah. Well, it's an activity that you do with a kind of bird, and it's related to hunting. And this kind of bird chases a prey, and well, basically you need this kind of bird to do this activity.
They have good eyes, I think.
Yeah, of course.
In MASH, do you know the old TV MASH about Korea? And there's a doctor from Maine, and his name is Hawkeye.
I didn't know the name. I watched the series a long time ago.
I haven't seen it for years and years, but it's da da dee da 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 da. Long time. So you've heard of it, have you? You've seen that series?
Yeah, there were doctors who were soldiers, but I even don't remember the war they were fighting.
It's Korea. Incoming wounded and chop chop. Yes, and that's right. Very good it was. I'm looking for a word that you said there about a kind of sport which you can even do today in Kent. If you go to Leeds Castle, there's another Leeds which has a castle, a medieval castle, and it's not Leeds as in Leeds, Yorkshire, Leeds United.
It would be Hawking.
Hawking is the word, yeah.
The word was Hawking, yeah.
Hawking, yeah. But another word is another kind of sport that you do on horseback with a dividing fence between the two participants, and they ride against each other with carrying a long spear.
Joust.
Not a spear, a lance. Because do you know there's a difference between a lance and a spear?
No,
What's the difference between a lance and a spear? A spear is a bit like a javelin, you throw it. But a lance is held, and it sticks out a long way in front of you. And then you try to knock somebody off their horse.
The joust.
Jousting, yes. Jousting, yeah. So, interesting old words there about sport.
Interesting.
Okay. There's something else I was going to say, but the drill has taken it away from my mind. So, okay, let's move on. Down we go. There is the instrument, a forerunner of the piano. So she was actually a bit like, she was very well educated. I think I was just comparing her to Audrey Hepburn, I don't know why, because of her music and languages, I think. Although, there we go, paragraph 9. Let's move along. Back to you, Nino. Are you there? I must make it bigger again. Let's see. Paragraph 9. Nino, are you there?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. I think you've got too much there, but well, let's see how you do. You may have to cut it up. So see if you can read it for us.
Elizabeth was crowned.
Crowned. Ow. Crowned.
Crowned. Queen on Sunday, 15 January 1559. In the months that followed, the new queen re-established the Protestant Church in England and restored the debased coinage.
What is that debased coinage? Any idea what that might mean? Debased coinage.
No, wrong.
Coins? What are coins?
Coin is
Money.
It's money, yeah.
Yeah. So debased is it may be taken out of use. Debased coinage, restored. So she brought it back again. This money. Okay. So let's go on. Perhaps to
Peace.
appease. Perhaps to appease. Do you know what that word means, Nino?
Hello.
If you appease something, well, you kind of make them feel good. To make them feel at ease, to feel safe. So I'm not using my dictionary here, but it means to make them feel fine about something, to appease them, to reassure maybe is close.
calm down.
Yeah, to calm them down, yes. Okay, so Nino, perhaps to appease Catholics.
Perhaps to appease Catholics or to appease those who did not believe a woman could become head of the church, Elizabeth became supreme governor of the Church of England, rather than supreme head as her father had been. While it is impossible to know what exactly the Queen's personal religious beliefs were, the church she established is an indication of them. She was a committed Protestant and reputedly spent time in prayer every day, but she was probably a conservative Protestant. She liked candles and crucifixes in her private chapel, liked church music, and enjoyed the more traditional style of worship in contrast to the sermon-based service that was becoming popular in some Protestant circles. She did not like religious extremism and did not want to persecute any of her people for their religious beliefs. However, the tenacious political nature of the Catholic Protestant split meant that her government had to take a harsher line towards Catholics that she wanted.
Okay, nicely read. By the way, natural, but nature. Right. So, could you choose a word then?
Okay, let's get. My word is a verb. It's a verb and indicate when someone is engaged and is faithful to something, maybe when you have a goal to achieve a goal.
Yes, I'm looking for a word beginning with D, if I can find it.
Maybe when one is engaged in achieving a goal or like something, and or is completely completely.
Is it that?
Yeah.
Committed.
Commitment.
Committed.
Yes, committed.
I've got a word here which is something like a dog does this. Dogs are good at this, but cats are not. So they never give up. You know, if it starts something, like chasing after something, then a cat will give up as soon as the gazelle runs away. If it doesn't catch it immediately, it's gone. But dogs, they keep chasing. They never give up because they are very what?
Okay.
It's tenacious.
Tenacious, yes. Oh, by the way, I remember what I was going to say about birds of prey. Birds of prey, like hawks, eagles. Do you know any others? Any other birds of prey?
Worship.
Which one did you say, Nino? I couldn't catch it. A bird of prey, like a hawk, an eagle.
No, I don't.
A vulture is more of a scavenger, really, because I don't think they actually kill anybody. Maybe they do if they're very weak. But my question to you: if an eagle is a bird of prey, then is a tiger a cat of prey?
Cat of prey.
If an eagle is a bird of prey, is a tiger a cat of prey?
I don't get what is prey. Prey.
Well, prey is a quarry or something that is killed.
Oh.
Something that the cat kills. For example, a rabbit. So if an eagle catches a rabbit, the rabbit is the eagle's prey, and we sometimes say that hawks are birds of prey. So if a hawk is a bird of prey, can a tiger be said to be a cat of prey?
A cat of prey.
Yes or no? Is it good English to say that? Do you think?
I don't think so.
It's nonsense. It's silly.
Yeah.
There's no cat. A tiger is not a cat of prey, is it, Manuel?
I think it's a joke, or
It is. Well, it is a kind of joke. Yes, because all cats kill things, don't they? So we don't need to say this. So it's silly to say this, but birds don't generally go around killing things. So those that do are called birds of prey.
Which means predator, right?
Yeah, it's related to predator, yes. So prey is the thing that has been predated on. So, okay, so paragraph 10, let's move along. So we're back to you, Rokio, your turn. Are you there? Rokio, are you there on the mic? No, Roxanne, can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Right, Roxana, then can you take this paragraph, please?
Okay. Now that Elizabeth was king.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, okay, you can catch the next one. Let Roxana continue now.
Okay.
Okay, now that Elizabeth was king,
Queen.
proposal of marriage floundered in, but Elizabeth committed herself, not one of them, ingenious of political willing and the island.
Okay, let's have a look at this sentence because this is interesting. In a genius of political wheeling and dealing. It's an interesting sentence because we don't usually see genius as a noun like this. But in a stroke of genius I've heard of before. But in a genius is a bit strange here. I think I might even edit it because we don't usually say in a genius of something. So in a moment of genius, you could say something like that, or in a genius, a stroke of genius. That was a stroke of genius, you know, like a stroke of good luck. But okay, genius we know, but I'm looking at wheeling and dealing, Roxana. Have you heard this expression before?
No,
wheeling and
never
dealing.
heard. Can you tell me what it does mean?
Wheeling and dealing, it's like, you know, it's a bit like business, but more a bit political. It's kind of wheeling and dealing. It's negotiating, offering deals, maybe underhand deals as well. That means maybe not all kosher, not legal, but wheeling and dealing, those two words go together to give you this feeling about people who are trying to get things done and they're trying to sort things out, sort problems out, make a deal with somebody. Wheeling and dealing. Yeah. So the wheels are spinning.
Yeah, wheeling is a tire, isn't it? Something like that.
Well, yes, but here it's a bit metaphorical. So wheeling is like the changes, you know, the turning things round, spinning the tables on. You know, you can turn the tables on somebody, and wheeling and dealing is that kind of wheeling. So it's doing business and negotiating.
Okay, when the business is running.
Well, if you wheeling and dealing is you have a problem, and you know that you can go and speak to a man who's influential, and he knows the MP, the Prime Minister, and that you know that you talk to people and you get them to get things moving. So you need to pull in all your friends who are in influential places and get them to be involved in this and help you. So when it says in a genius of political wheeling and dealing, it means that she spoke to a lot of people, important people, and she was very good at this. So she wasn't just a dumb queen, she was a very intelligent woman, and she could manipulate men, which is probably another reason why she didn't get married, actually, because she wanted to stay on top of the situation, and so she could actually, she even used marriage and the promise of marriage, or the allure of possible marriage, as a kind of way of controlling men.
Yeah, that's why I thought at the beginning she wasn't married because she was a very demanding woman, because she probably thought she doesn't need a man for manage her life.
And if she did have a man and married a man, that man may have taken away some of her power. Okay, let's read on then. In a genius of political wheeling and dealing, she managed...
Okay, in a genius of political wheeling and dealing, she managed to use her single state to benefit
her single state is, what is that? Her single state?
Like a single woman, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's about marriage. Yes, that's right.
To benefit the country by using the bait of marriage to dowry. Bait.
Now that's an interesting word. It comes from fishing.
Bait.
Do you know what bait is in fishing? You know, you put a worm on the end of a hook and you hold out the hook on the line. That's the bait.
Ah, okay. Okay.
That made me laugh, actually. There's a very funny expression in England for you know, when there are very young girls who are underage, maybe they're not old enough. Do you know what some men refer to them as? They refer to them as jailbait. I think that's quite funny.
Yeah. It's like I don't know how to say it, but it's like a trap. Yeah,
like a kind of trap. Yes. Okay, so To benefit the country by using the bait of marriage to draw in enemies or to frighten them. Okay, read on.
Okay, then by suggesting she could marry one of their foes. I don't know.
Foes, what does that mean? Enemies.
Enemy. Okay.
Yes,
foe.
friend or foe. Who goes there? Friend or foe? You know, when you're a guard at night on watch, you've got your gun in your hand and you hear somebody coming, you can just say, who goes there, friend or foe? But you just probably say, hey, who's that?
Okay. Whatever Elizabeth's personal feeling towards marriage, on 2 occasions, she didn't come close to
matrimony is another word meaning marriage. Yes.
Like marriage. To matrimony for many years. The most serious know each other for years and had been in present.
Hang on, you missed the most serious contender for her hand.
Where?
You dropped a line out. For many years, the most serious contender for her hand.
Okay, the most serious contender. That word doesn't appear in my
contender. Yeah, okay. So I see you dropped a line out. You said for many years the most serious, and then you dropped a whole line out.
Sorry, I got lost.
Yeah, okay. So the most serious contender. A contender is somebody who is competing for a position.
Contender. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. So for many years, a contender is somebody who's competing for something. So you could have a contest.
Okay.
And the contenders.
Okay, contender for her hand was Robert Dudley, create Earl of Leicester in 1564. He and Elizabeth had known each other for years and had been imprisoned in the Tower of London.
Put in prison, put in jail. Imprisoned.
Imprisoned. That is put in jail?
To be put in prison, yes, or put in jail, put in prison. Prison and jail are a bit different usually, but jail could be something, yeah, they're similar. Imprisoned, yes.
In the Tower of London at the same time. He was the only serious personal love interest of the Queen Elizabeth life. Politically, however, marrying him would have been disaster. He was unpopular as he was his son of the traitor Northumberland and was loathed.
Loathed. You know, this word is, I hate you, you loathsome beast. Loathing is a kind of hating. Loathe.
Even more after his wife was found dead in mysterious circumstances.
Okay, let's get the pronunciation. Found dead in mysterious circumstances.
Okay, found dead in mysterious circumstances. It was thought that had murdered her soul.
Murdered. I like the way they say this in Glasgow. They say murder. But murder is the sound.
Murdered. Her so he could be free for Mary Elizabeth. The other serious contender for the Queen's hands was Francis, Duke of Alencon.
Yeah, I don't know these places, but heir to the French throne, so it's a French place.
Alencon and Duke, heir to French.
Heir. Just this is no H on it. No H on this one.
Told us before, heir to the French throne, but again, political consideration made the match ultimately impossible.
Ultimately impossible. Yes.
Ultimately impossible.
Right then. So your word, what will it be?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I'll do one, and you think. I'll do one. I'll do a very easy word that everybody's going to get straight away because I've spoken about it, I think. So it's something. It's in the text. My word is a verb in the past simple, and it means hated.
Loathed.
Loathed. Yes. Right. Have you found your word now yet, Roxana? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, another one from me. Then another word means that you've committed an offence against your country. So you are very unpatriotic. You've done something.
A traitor.
A traitor. Yes, you're a traitor.
A traitor.
So he was son of the traitor Northumberland. Because
Okay.
Northumberland was a traitor because he was plotting against Queen Mary. So he was a traitor. Have you got your word now, Roxana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different situation, different situation and different place, and in different. Can I say status?
Say that again. What was that word?
Okay, it's a word. I think it's an adjective. Different situations in different place, or in different. I don't know if I can say status.
Status. Different status. Well, I'm looking.
Circumstances.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I see. Yes, circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good one. So let's move down. Paragraph 11. Not marrying. So, who's next on the list? We got Ursula. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
here.
So yours is 11 then.
Yes. Not marrying and having a child of her own meant that the succession was unsettled.
Yeah, well,
Elizabeth,
can I just say that when you read that, let's look at the intonation of your reading there. I know
Yes.
you're reading it first time through, but not marrying and having a child of her own, you should keep the of her own together, meant,
that the that the succession was unsettled. Elizabeth did not like to talk about the succession and tried to have talk of it suppressed. But people were anxious about what would happen to the country when she died. However, having a child of her own may not have been an end to all problems. In the eyes of Catholics, Elizabeth was illegitimate and had no right to the throne. To them, Mary, Queen of Scots, was the rightful Queen of England. Plots were made to make Mary queen, and this would have been formed regardless of whether Elizabeth has a child or not. This is perhaps especially when Mary was Elizabeth's prisoner following her disastrous reign in Scotland.
Yeah, nicely read. Very well done. Okay, so let's see what words we've got here. We've got one or two interesting words. Have you found one that you might like to describe?
Yes.
Shall I go first, or
yes,
are you
it's
ready?
maybe it's not under the right. Is not is not legal. It's not under the right, the rules.
So it's breaking the rules.
Breaking.
Yeah, thanks, Manuel. Thanks for coming, and catch you later. That was nice of you to come and help out. Thank you. So I think I see the word here. Which word is speaking about breaking rules? Or it's an adjective, though.
No.
We spoke about it earlier compared to another word.
Legitimate.
Yes.
Yeah, remember, because it's a That's right, Ursula, because when it's an adjective, it's going to be "ert" at the end, illegitimate. Yes, because the 8 endings pretty well only go for verbs. So sometimes we have 8 at the end of a verb, like estimate. But if it's a noun, then it will be estimate. Right, so what other, there's another interesting word or two there. One word is like quite nervous about something.
It's anxious.
Anxious, yes.
Anxious.
And another word is if you have something bottled up inside you and you don't, it causes some kind of tension inside you because it's all like feelings are bottled up inside you.
Anxious.
They can't, it's best to let it out, but you keep it inside you and it probably affects you, could even make you ill if you continue to do that. No?
Suppressed.
Suppressed, yes. Suppressed, yes. Okay, so let's see if we've got time for one more. 12 here. Right, thank you, Ursula. So,
Thank you.
Anna, 12.
Hello?
Hi there, can you read number 12?
Okay. Forced to flee her own country, having abdicated her throne in favor of her son, she landed in England, seeking Elizabeth's help in restoring her to her kingdom. She was immediately imprisoned. This was as much to protect her as to minimize the danger she posed to Elizabeth.
Yeah, danger was a bit French there, like almost danger. It wasn't quite, but it was halfway there, so you want danger.
Danger. The danger she posed to Elizabeth. Mary was kept a prisoner for almost 20 years. In that time, Elizabeth refused to hear about executing her cousin. But
cousin, cousin.
Cousin. But Mary's complicity in the Babington plot, 1586, made the execution, in the eyes of many, unavoidable.
Unavoidable, yeah.
Unavoidable. It was a traumatic time for Elizabeth, and for a while it seemed that she would not have the strength of the execution, but she did, and Mary was executed at Fotheringay Castle on 8 February 1587.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I would tend to put articles and ordinal numbers into dates, so I would read on the 8th of February. That's how I do it, but you don't have to do it that way. Sometimes people don't, especially if the date is written with the month first, like February 8. You could say February 8, but I never do that. They do that in America quite a bit, but I prefer to put the articles and ordinal numbers back in, like on February the 8th. So could you do a word, please?
Okay, it's about doing something.
Doing what? Anything?
Anything. In this case, it's very cruel, but it's doing something.
Ah, I see why you say that, yes. Because in a computer program, the programs which do something use this word. Yeah. And a person in business who is in charge of getting certain things done is called by this name as well.
Exactly. It's a very wide meaning.
Although, actually, in this context, it means chop your head off.
Executing.
Yeah, perfect. Executing.
Yes, but generally it just means do something. That's right, to execute a plan. Okay, that's it then. I'll mark down that I'm on paragraph 12, finished, and then I'll continue this another day because I've done 2 hours of it today, so we'll give it a break, do something different next. So that's the end of this session, but see you again soon.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.